We have limited resources.
How do we keep up with demand?
There's so much waste.
We need more housing.
What about hospitals?
How do we still be sustainable?
How do we still be sustainable?
Our world is changing so fast. We look at this as the biggest design opportunity we've ever had. Generative design is opening the door to creating design options that are stronger, lighter, and meet other constraints in ways that were never before possible. Drones are being used on construction sites to scan work as it's complete and ensure accuracy. And industries are working together in an effort to find ways to be better to our planet and maximize our resources. By combining our imagination with automation and new technology, we can do more meaningful work. We can create all that humanity needs with less negative impact. At Autodesk, we believe we can balance the inevitability of more with the reality of less by embracing the opportunity to design and make better.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anda-Luistro. I'm Territory Accounts Executive for Autodesk. I'm here to talk about how Autodesk is helping us to rethink how we design and make things. You probably know us as a company that created AutoCAD. This morning, you will see that we are much more than that. More importantly, we will talk about how we can combine human imagination and automation technologies to make more things of what humanity needs with less negative impact. Today, there are over 7.5 billion of us living here on Earth. And by 2050, there will be 10 billion of us. All around the world, the middle class is growing faster than at any time in our history. In 1990, less than a quarter of the world's population earned enough to be classified as middle class. Today, almost half of us do. Kasama na tayo lahat doon ba? That's 3 times as many people whose lives have become better. And that's just the start. 400,000 people are joining the middle class each and every day. And along with this growing population comes a growing demand. 400,000 more people every day will desire and deserve what we all do. Mobile phones, motorized transportation, abundant food, and housing. By 2050, 2/3 of us will live in the cities. By then, we'll need to build 3,600 more buildings per day than we are currently building. And what we'll need to spend on this is a fraction of what we'll need to invest in new infrastructure. Not to mention the cost of repairing our old crumbling infrastructure. We're going to have to build a new world at the same time as we continually rebuild the old. Highways and hospitals, education and energy, water and wheat. 10 billion people will want the same thing that we all want. We want more. More is inevitable. The demand for more is driven by demographic changes that are already underway. To meet this increasing demand, we're increasingly reliant on automation. More demand doesn't guarantee more jobs or more equality. As we make more things for more people, we increase the potential for negative impact. The negative impact that's often an unintended consequence of the things we make. The more we make, the less of our limited natural resources we leave ourselves. And less skilled labor there is left to go around. Particularly in industries like construction, manufacturing, where there are already less skilled workers than we need. So how do we build all we need and balance this with less negative impact? Less negative impact on people, less disruption of business, less harm to communities, and less creation of inequality. and less negative impact on the planet. Less depletion of our natural resources, less waste, and less carbon emissions. As we plan for the inevitability of more, how do we balance this with the reality of less? In order to serve this fundamental capacity issue, we're going to have to fundamentally rethink the way we make things. We cannot continue doing things the way we do today. Okay, so when construction creates almost a third of all global waste, and then when 70% of the spare parts we make today aren't even needed, we're losing the efficiencies of manufacturing within inefficient supply chains. We're wasting warehouse spaces, wasting materials, and wasting money. Reducing our negative impact on the planet and on people is a reality we all need to face up to. Addressing the certainty of having to do more, along with the reality of doing it with less negative impact, is a massive design challenge. But addressing this fundamental capacity issue is also the biggest design opportunity we have ever had. At Autodesk, we make software tools to help people with design challenges every day. We help our customers who design and make everything from skyscrapers, smart cars, bridges, and blockbusters. We help our customers who make buildings and cars with less environmental impact and movies with more emotional impact. Our tools automate how things are designed in the digital world and made in the physical world. We help architects simulate how the buildings they design will perform before they are built. And we help site workers construct them so they continue to perform after they are built. We help mechanical engineers simulate the performance of cars before they are made. And we help manufacturing engineers prepare those cars to perform once they are made. And we even help some of our customers to make movies that perform at the box office. Our tools automate the way our customer designs and make things. In fact, we've been in the automation business for over 35 years. It's true that our technology has disrupted and changed many jobs. Automation is no doubt changing how we work. But more importantly, it's also changing what we work on. What we make, so rather than worry about automation taking our jobs, maybe we should focus on the opportunity of where we can take automation, where we can go together. Because along with the certainty of more and the reality of less is the opportunity of better. So how do we make things better? Things that are better suited to their use and to their user. Things that are better suited to human need. So off the shelf, things no longer fit our needs or our desires. So mass production has given way to mass customization. And the digital is now integrated into so much of the physical. The things we make today contain sensors and software, microprocessors and media. They are more connected and more configurable. But now there's an opportunity to create things that are more meaningful. And what about how we make things? What role can automation play in making them better? A proliferation of new advanced manufacturing capabilities is changing what we can make. The things we make are no longer constrained by the physical process of making. So robots are no longer constrained to the factory. We start to see them from the production line to construction site. 3D printing is no longer constrained also to prototyping. In aerospace and automotive, additive manufacturing is increasingly production proven. We are capable of making things of increasing complexity and increasing fidelity. Now there's an opportunity to make things of increasing value. things that perform better and last longer. And how about the work we do? At Autodesk, we believe it's time to embrace the opportunity to design and make better. Because just as automation is changing how we work, it's also changing what we work on. It's changing the things we are capable of making, helping us make better things. So what we do, better things even look like. So I'm going to show another video. It's one of our business segment, the design and manufacturing team.
At General Motors, we're all about putting our customers first and at the center of everything we do. If we can take a mile per gallon of fuel economy off, if we can extend our range 10 miles in an electric vehicle, that can be a huge competitive advantage for General Motors. As you start looking into the future, generative design paired with additive manufacturing can be completely disruptive to our industry to deliver those functionally optimized designs and deliver performance to our customers that they couldn't get any other way. We've been doing additive manufacturing at GM for over 30 years. Rapid prototyping, assembly tooling, jigs, fixtures. How do we take that next step? Getting people to think differently. Not migrate back to, well, we can't do it. Additive manufacturing can enable us to do this. We have some very unique design challenges in some of our upcoming vehicle programs. One of those was the seat bracket. That seat bracket is very important from a functional safety perspective. How can we fully functionally optimize that design for mass? We chose to use generative design as our design tool to come up with different options for the seat bracket. Normally when we face a design challenge like that, we may come up with 2 or 3 different design options, but with generative design, we could come up with over 150 some solutions that we just couldn't have thought of with any other existing design tools. We formed a partnership with Autodesk. We thought it was a unique opportunity to really use those tools to deliver a design that we couldn't come up with any other way. We've run it through our normal set of test procedures that are required for this part. This part is so much better than the previous part. 40% mass savings, at the same time getting 20% stronger, far exceeded my expectations of what we could achieve. We have many different parts and pieces on our vehicles, over 30,000 on average. So now the real challenge is to find all those different applications where we can apply the same principles of generative design to really optimize our vehicles further.
Thank you. Exciting, right? So General Motors is one of our case study. So the things General Motors make have changed a lot over the last 100 years, and so has the work on the assembly line. So for over 100 years, GM has used automation to optimize their production. So to the point where today a car rolls off the assembly line every minute. That's a car that typically contains over 30,000 parts. So by optimizing production, they were able to keep the pace with rapidly changing auto processes. So its CEO, Mary Barra, is helping GM reinvent itself by reimagining its business around electric. So she has committed to bringing 20 electric vehicles to market by 2023. That means improving efficiency, and the best way to do that is to reduce weight and complexity. So GM is using Autodesk generative design technology to help them reduce the number of parts that go into each car while making them lighter and stronger. Autodesk generative design technology helps GM's engineers develop solutions based on the goals and constraints of a part, like where it connects to others, what it's made of, and what loads it needs to take. GM works with us to explore a prototype for this part, the bracket into which the rear seats belts are fastened. Having defined the goals and constraints, generative design automatically generate viable design options for GM to choose, taking into account performance and manufacturing viability. So, which meant that GM's engineers were able to explore dozens and dozens of valid options, faster than they'd previously been able to do for a single design. From all the options available, the one the engineers decided upon was maybe this one, maybe this design. So, this is a solution that was nearly impossible for a human to design alone, and yet a human did in partnership with generative design. Now, a solution GM designed to be 40% lighter and 20% stronger than the original. So GM's focus on innovation helped them create a better bracket, but it's just one component. Imagine how much further automation could take General Motors, how much further all its cars could do. And imagine how much fuel would be saved if GM applied generative design successfully to the tens of thousands of parts that make up every one of its cars. So General Motors is just one of our case study. For our customers in manufacturing, we have several case study that will be able to help in your business. So another business segment that I'm going to talk about is the segment that I belong to, AEC, Architecture, Engineering, Construction. So let's turn next to the things we build. How could making better homes result in a better business model for construction? So that is the very question that one of our customers has been asking ourselves. So Van Wijnen, this case study that I'm going to show you, is a family business in the Netherlands, which builds a lot of property, including affordable net zero energy housing. Now, building housing that's both affordable and sustainable may sound paradoxical to some of us, but not to Van Wijnen. They're not like most construction companies, but like most construction companies, after the last downturn, they were concerned that the 2% profit they were chasing wasn't something that could sustain them. So by fully adopting BIM, they figured out how they could eliminate waste and lower the cost, and tagging each component with all the metadata they needed. And this enabled them, to think more like an automotive manufacturer and develop a modular concept for housing that could be used in many different configurations. And having invested in building this catalog of components, they used manufacturing processes to build these components better. They prefabricated each component themselves. First of all, in offsite, and then another one in their factory, and then actually in any job site. Soon, all their houses could be assembled in 3 days. They reimagined the way they approach building houses. Now, Van Wijnen were thinking about how to reimagine the way they were designed. So we helped them use generative design technology on a project to explore 15,000 different design options. Yan. So they focus on the 3 most interesting choices that they could shape into the perfect urban neighborhood. Generative design helps them look across multiple dimensions all at once. So they were able to maximize the amount of solar energy they could collect. Generative design helped Van Wijnen meet their net zero energy goals. Yan. So not only this, it also helped them to optimize backyard sizes and views. Yeah, ensuring the house met the human needs of its occupants too. Yeah. But that isn't all that Van Wijnen were able to optimize for. Cost and profit were also part of the model. Van Wijnen are running a business, so it's also one of their objectives. So Van Wijnen's modular system allows them to make buildings better with less waste and less risk, while generative design enables them to make better buildings with more yard space and more daylight to better meet the human needs of their occupants. Finally, if automation can help make things better suited to human needs. Yeah. So imagine what it could do more for humans who are in real need. Imagine what it could do for the millions, for example, Colombians who live along one of the world's most active fault lines. Many of Colombians' dense urban areas are vulnerable to collapse in the event of an earthquake. So similar to our own country. So Autodesk is working with Build Change to automate how they survey and redesign those buildings that need retrofitting. So they can do it all faster, much faster. Build Change Focus is another case study. Their focus is on automating its retrofit process, making life better in some of the world's most at-risk communities. So automation might be changing how we work, but it's also changing the problems we can work on. Yeah. Yes. So automation changes job, but it can also change lives. Automation is changing the very things that Van Wijnen makes and the jobs of the people who work there. So their concept for modular construction just wouldn't be effective without making houses in ways that are more industrialized. Yeah. So it's changed, the nature of how the nature of work of Van Wijnen, where human innovation is thriving because of adapting automation in their design. And the GM are making also changing because of automation. And that just it's not possible without making them in entirely new ways. Generative design and industrial additive converge how things are designed and made, and in doing so, change the very nature of how our customers are capable of making. So as you think about what automation means for you and your work, think of automation as more than just a way to improve the bottom line. Because it can also be a way, to grow the top line. Sure, automating tasks and optimizing processes are a key part of staying competitive. Whether optimizing for efficiency or for density, optimization is what we all do to keep up with our competitors. But it's imagination, not optimization, that moves us all ahead. Whether imagining how bracket could be printed as one part rather than assembled from many components, or imagining how to accommodate human needs along with business needs, automation can take us further. And just imagine how much further we can go when we partner our human innovation with automation. I'm using the automation word a lot. So yeah. We've seen how far our innovation with generative design has taken your work in the 7 years we've been working on it. So we've seen how it's changing not just what you design and make, but how you design and make. And we know you're not all going to, retool around additive. So we're working on how we can help you explore how any design can be made across the full manufacturing spectrum, from milling to molding, from casting to composites, all from the design space. We want you to be able to manage a portfolio of viable options. Our vision is to enable you to explore the full solution space and have a clear line of sight, right from parts to production. As we change how you design, by converging on one solution from many potential options and guiding the tool to any manufacturing method, we recognize that we change how you learn. So we're also thinking about how tools for design through co-creation can also foster learning through co-creation. So we're looking at how our tools can adapt to us and help us adapt. So learning tools were built on automation, just like the generative design, to anticipate the designer's needs. So working in partnership with tools that foster co-creation helps us also nurture innovation. Together, we can balance the certainty of more with the reality of less, and find the opportunity of better, better things and better work, a better world. Through human innovation and automation, we can shape the world around us. So Autodesk, together we can make anything. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you everybody for the time.